Call me Rito Bandora, the favorite kid of the real power in the universe, Master Vilius. It wasn't always that way. Even with all the super sciencey enhancements dear old dad got for the whole family when I was young, he still preferred my sister Rita. Probably because he had her with his first wife, Vienna, whoever she is. And this despite her screwing up with that whole Eltar fiasco and wandering the universe searching for magic rocks or something. Which brings me to when things turned around for me. It was one of those rare times Sis paid us a visit back home on Gamma Vile in the M51 Galaxy. Her ship landed and she came out with some of her crewmen.
Rito?
Hey sis, long time no see!
Not long enough. I don't want to be seen with you when you're dressed like that.
Nobody in the family appreciated my fashion. I've watched some Earth television, so I know those lousy humans would describe my style as punk or goth, whatever those mean. I wore black leather head to toe, a coat with one sleeve, gloves, the tightest and sexiest leather pants ever, and boots, all studded out with metal buttons. But my favorite item was my headband adorned with a skull that held up my spiked bleach blonde hair. What annoyed Sis the most was I'd steal her cosmetics to darken my eyes and lips to match my outfit. Love you too, Sis, which is why I came to meet you. It's your birthday.
It is?
Yep. Don't remember which one, though. Numbers are pointless after you live long enough.
I don't care, Rito. I'm just here to see Father before Zed forces me to resume this never-ending fool's errand he's condemned me to do.
Right. Hey, remember how you told me to find Barai, the dragon warrior?
Yes.
Well, his time or life horse or whatever ran out by the time I found him. So I got you a birthday gift instead.
A gift?
Yep, caught it myself. Check it out. I gestured wildly to the huge metal crate behind me, sitting on an anti-gravity platform.
What is that?
I swaggered over to the crate. Let me show you.
A dragon?
Get him, Caesar!
Troops, kill it now!
That big lizard torched a good 4 or 5 guys before Sis and her crewmen shot him so much he keeled over. It was the best brawl I'd seen in ages. Sis walked over to his head and shot him in the face for good measure. Well, that was fun. Sis spun around and socked me in the jaw, knocking me on the ground. I looked up and found myself staring down the chamber of her blaster.
I should kill you for this. Those were some of my best men. It will take weeks to replace them.
Sounds like an excuse to stay longer. You're welcome. That got me pistol whipped in the face.
You motherless cretin. I told you to locate the dragon warrior.
All I heard was dragon. Ha!
Gah, you're not worth the pleasure father had with your harlot of a mother. But executing you would disappoint him. So he can deal with you.
I spat some blood and laughed. He'll think it's funny. Sis gave me a matching bruise on the other side of my face with another pistol whip.
Shut up and stand up.
We were escorted to Villius Manor by the Doros, these weird little guys with warped faces that Dad kept around as slaves. I think he found them on a planet he conquered. Whatever. They took us to Dad's office. Sis dug her blaster into my back while Dad glared at me from behind his desk. I was surrounded.
Welcome home, Rita. And if I may say so, happy birthday.
It was anything but happy, thanks to this bonehead.
Ah, damn it, Sis! It was just a joke!
A dragon attack is no joke, boy. You could have killed your sister.
I gotta lie, I wouldn't have cried if he ate her.
Go to the underworld.
Oh, you bitch!
Silence! Both of you!
Oh, come on! I knew she was too strong to get killed by that little...
Rito, I've already been told what's happened, so spare me your lies.
Tattletale. Oh! Sis jabbed her blaster into my back, and I swear I heard my spine crack.
Rita, leave us. I must speak to this imbecile of a son.
As you wish, Father. And thank you for the birthday wishes.
Can we skip to the part where you send me to my room?
Send you to your room? Why would I do that, when I could have you banished to the dark dimension for your repeated defiance?
Ha! Still not as bad as my room.
This month alone, you have managed to kill 6 of my Doros with your shenanigans.
How was I supposed to know they danced themselves to death unless I told them to stop? Doro, Doro, Dororo.
This is unacceptable. When people see you, they see me. So tell me, why must you act like this?
Ain't it obvious, Dad? I want you to actually like me like you do Sis. But hey, not all your kids can be born to Lady Vienna.
How dare you mention that name in my presence?
Then maybe you shouldn't have cheated on her with my mom. Dad pounded his desk and stood to his full height. I'd forgotten he looked like an 8-foot-tall T-bone steak.
I didn't have to adopt you after she died in childbirth. But I did. Because your mother was dear to me. And what was done to her was abhorrent. If I ever find the fiend who violated her,
I'll kill him and then use House Bandora magic to resurrect him and kill him again. Ugh. You're full of hot air, Hammerhead.
I am sick of your misbehavior. You are a disgrace to the Bandora name, and I will not tolerate your insolence any longer. Do you hear me?
Yeah, whatever. I whipped out a knife from my belt and slashed it across Dad's throat. I laughed as black blood gushed from his neck and mouth and bathed my face. He tried to beg for help, but he couldn't get it past the gurgles. He fell to the ground and writhed in a pool of ichor. I raised my knife in triumph, declaring myself the new master of Gamavile. Look out, maggots! I am Master Lord Rito, Emperor of all I see! Okay, that's not what happened. But I wish it was! Instead, Dad said,
It is high time I made your violent tendencies useful.
The hell does that mean?
Who dares ask a question of me, Master Villius?
That's a rhetorical question, right?
Enough, Rito. I'm sending you to the planet Gaikotsu to be trained by Hakumenro in the starving skeletons.
What?
Perhaps a year with them will give you a healthy outlet for your seething rage.
Wait, can we talk about this?
No, we cannot talk about this, for I have spoken. Doros! Escort my boy to the launch bay. He has a ship to catch.
Don't do this to me, Dad!
Farewell, Rito.
The Doros dragged me to the spaceport and tossed me on the next ship leaving the planet. I spent the next couple of days cooped up and bored in a brig. You'd think I'd be used to being alone, but I about lost my damn mind seeing no one but guards once a day. When we reached Gaikotsu, they didn't even bother landing. The guards took me to an airlock and shoved me out the door. I only fell about 10 feet, but it still hurt. As the ship flew away, I looked up and saw a dozen guys covered head to toe in black clothes pointing spears at me. Cloth masks with skulls covered their faces. They escorted me to a nearby temple that was shaped like a skull, detecting a pattern here. The mouth opened like a gate. Inside was a huge room with a 20-foot statue of the meanest looking skeleton warrior I've ever seen. Standing in front of it was a big guy wearing white armor and a skull mask that was half white and half dark camouflage. The goon shoved me in front of him. You hacky sack minnow? Ha! Oh!
You will show your new master respect.
Sure, whatever you say, bone boy. The bastard put his blade on my throat.
The son of Bilius fears death.
Doesn't everything?
We are the starving skeletons, the acolytes of Gashadokuru. We do not fear death. We are his arbiters.
The hell are you jabbering about? The psycho finally took his sword off me and turned around to gesture at the statue.
Gashadokuru.
The charming flower of evil.
Gashadokuru.
Adorned with a mask.
Whoever falls into his grasp
Will have their souls stolen.
So says the Book of the Black Prince, the founder of the starving skeletons, and the one whose bloodthirst could never be slaked. He was the first to wear this, the face of Gashadokuru, to offer the Doombringer any and all lives who would outlive their purpose. In return, he grants the wearer power and a mastery over mortality. Only the most worthy of his acolytes may claim it through combat with his predecessor.
That's a fancy way of saying you're a bunch of delusional assassins who worship a death god. Damn it, Scully, that side of my face had just finished healing. He put that sword right up in my face.
You listen here, Junior.
My name is...
Worthless. Bilius told me to take his embarrassment of a son and make him useful. Until then, your name will not be spoken, and you will be referred to only by your position. Junior.
How the hell do I do that?
Earn the favor of Gashadokuru.
And watch me do it, Skullface. I spent I don't know how many months training with these sadists from sunup to sundown. Combat, survival, weapons, which I had to make myself in their forge. And even a bit of medicine and chemistry to use poisons. Death was an art to these weirdos. They even made me memorize passages from that book they love so much, especially the Song of Gashadokuro, which was what they were chanting when Hackja berated me. After a while, I started to wonder if what they believed was true. But no matter how good I got at killing or how many verses I could recount, they never called me by my name, and my day always ended with a beating from Hack and Slash Man. I got used to it after a while. But then my opportunity to graduate finally came. Boney told me to meet him at the front of the Death God idol. Can we not bloodlet me on Gashi's altar and say we did? I barely have enough left to not look like an actual skeleton.
Lucky for you, Junior. Gashidokaru has spared you for today, and granted you a task to prove yourself.
Oh yay! And that is?
A mission from your father.
Ha! What's Handlebarhead want me to do?
Simple. Kill the Machine Prince.
Is he out of his trudging mind?
If you want to get back in his good graces, Junior, you must be about your father's business.
I thought he was cutting deals with the Machine Royal family.
No longer. They have gotten comfortable with their power and severed their contracts with him. As the Black Prince wrote, in this world of wasteful excess,
It's about time power changed hands. I imagine Mr. Rose smiling under his mask.
yes. Good. Now, Vilius has taken on a new client who needs the machines out of the way to fulfill his ambitions.
Hey, politics, skip to the important stuff.
Your impatience will lead you behind the sealed door early. As I was saying, Prince Gasket and his wife, Princess Archerina, are currently residing on the planet Horath, which they have just conquered for the Machine Empire. The inhabitants are barbaric humanoids who kill monsters and wear their skins, but they have a proud warrior culture. So Gasket and Archerina forced them to fight to the death for their amusement in Horath's greatest coliseum.
Yippee skippy.
This is where you will find the prince. Infiltrate the arena. Find the prince, cut off his head, and destroy it. Only then we can be sure he is dead. Leave only a black rose, which is Gashidokaru's gift to all he meets before taking them to the underworld.
Can you technically, kill robots?
Were your tongue any sharper, you would slit your own throat. Your alias for this mission is Endo Pappenbrook. If you're captured, eat the petals of the black rose, so that our secrets are swallowed by death.
I gave him a mock salute. Sir, yes, sir.
Now go! A ship is waiting outside to take you to Horath.
About time I got off this rock. Ha ha. See ya. The next day I was dropped off outside Horath's capital city, Sa-Kamo-To. I managed to slip in without being detected by Machine Empire forces. But Hacksaw Man couldn't be bothered to give me the exact location of this Horathian Coliseum. I didn't know if he hated me or wanted to make this mission extra challenging. Probably both. Anyway, it took me another day of dodging cogs and making friendly with the depressed locals to get to the arena. Oh ho ho! I thought I'd never find this place. Now I get myself inside and find this robo-tyrant.
Please wait for a security scan.
What? You're letting in all these barbarians?
They are natives. You are a foreigner. Stand by for a scan.
Oh, hell. I was wearing my usual leather outfit, but I left off the makeup and let my normally spiked hair dangle over my headband. I was banking on the new look and my relative obscurity saving my bony hide as a scanning beam emanated from the robot's eyes.
Scan complete. Subject is registered as Endo Pappenbrook. Deemed safe. You may enter.
About damn time, brass face. Inside, the horde of cogs directed the crowd of Horathians to the dirty benches encircling the arena. I looked around and saw a green robot with winged shoulders and a petite pink bot sitting in a raised podium overlooking everything. Gasket and Archerina. I just needed a way to reach him. But how? I walked around the arena and sat on a bench as close to the machines as possible. I wondered if I should climb the podium and ambush him. No, I'd get spotted instantly. Maybe I could sit here, watch the bloodbath, oh yeah, and then ambush him. As I strategized, more and more of these animal skin wearing weirdos crowded around me. I could hardly blend in when I was the only one in the arena who didn't kill his clothes that morning. I bet those bots could have detected my sweat. Suddenly I felt something cold and metallic grab my shoulder.
Surprise, Endo Pappenbrook! Or should I say, Rito Bandora?
I panicked, spun around, and swung at whoever he was.
Now that I've got you out of the open, You're mine!
The creep was a tall black robot covered in what looked like golden ivy vines. I threw a punch with my other fist, but he intercepted that one too and squeezed so hard I dropped to my knees. Oh, God.
This is more like it. Now I can kill you single-handedly.
Go ahead and try it. Damn scumbag could electrocute you with a touch.
All right, let's get this over with.
Borax, how nice to see you.
Everyone looked up at Gaskin and Archerina on their podium.
Yes. How are our cousins on Virax?
My people remain happy citizens of the Empire, Your Highness.
Excellent. Now what do you have there?
My latest quarry, Prince. A junior member of the Starving Skeletons, sent here to assassinate you and your bride.
Oh, he is handsome for an organic, but no one compares to you, husband.
Ha! This wretch is so reviled, I was hired by his father to track him down and kill him.
What? That son of a...
Then you have done me and my wife a great service. Although, I doubt this fool is much of a threat.
I'll have you know...
He is a lively fool. Oh, I know, husband. Let's make sport of him in the arena for our entertainment.
An excellent idea, my love.
I'm afraid that's out of the question, Your Highness. I have to take his corpse back to his father to collect my bounty.
Whatever your client paid you, we will double it if you toss him into the arena.
Deal.
Wait, what's up? That greedy gearhead dragged me to the edge of the seats and tossed me like a bag of trash onto the dirt floor below. It was a good 10-foot tumble, but it only hurt a little. Maybe.
People of Horath, we, your benevolent machine rulers, have a special treat for you. A new combatant has joined the bout between our champion, Altor, and your greatest warrior, Tritor. Welcome to the ring. What is this organic's name again?
I'm told it's Junior.
How cute!
Damn you, Hawkman.
Yes, a triple threat. Altor versus Tritor versus Junior. For the glory of Horath and the Machine Empire! The prize is survival. Who lives? Place your bets now on the tablets in front of you. 50-1 odds for Tritor and 100-1 for Junior.
Well, trudge.
Good luck, organics. Mwah.
You don't even have real lips, Robo-Wench! Gasket glared at me. I was dead now.
Cogs! Release the gladiators!
From the gate on the opposite side of the arena walked a tall machine with a dog's head decked out in golden armor. In one hand he held a fancy equally gold spear, and on his other forearm was welded a matching shield.
I am Altor, king of the arena. You cold, sire?
Screw me backwards!
Friend.
I spun around and saw a big burly Harathian wearing what looked like a huge lizard skin and holding a mace. He'd walked out of a gate behind me. I snapped to a combat stance. You asked for it, Gecko Man. The lizard or humanoid or whatever held up his scaly clawed hand.
The machines threw you in here without a weapon. Dishonorable. Arm yourself. I, Tritor, Slayer of the Salaguana, will fight the dog until you do.
Are you for real?
Prepare to die, meatbags!
Go! Quickly! Ha!
A barbarian who fights fair. They call me a bonehead. I ran to a skeleton of some monster. I don't know, it looked kind of like Caesar. I found one bone, a rib maybe, that looked sharp enough to be a sword. Tough enough, too. I grabbed a few smaller bones and tied them on with some blood-soaked rope to make a crossguard. Improvised weapons were a starving skeleton's specialty. Iguana Man knocked back Dogface and turned to me.
Fight me. We'll be legends.
Whatever you say, Salamander! I charged at the barbarian and swung at him with my bone sword. He deflected it with his mace. We dodged and parried a few more attacks before Alley Dog got up and swung his big old spear at us.
Weaklings!
Me and Scalebelly barely ducked in time to keep our heads. Al Tori was wide open, so I slashed him across his back. He didn't scream. I hate it when they don't scream. Why don't these damn machines scream? Ugh. He retaliated by bashing me in the chest with his shield. Ah! The dogbot raised his spear overhead.
Die, flesh sack!
Tritty threw his mace at the machine, making him stumble back, which gave me a few seconds to roll to my feet and run to the Harathian. Ugh, this rust bucket just won't go down.
Indeed. That is why we must become allies.
Say what?
Only together as flesh and blood warriors can we defeat him.
If that's what you want to do, lizard lover, but how you're gonna fight him without a weapon? He flicked his fingers and sprouted claws from them.
My hands can cut steel.
Haha, hell yeah.
Onward, for Horath and for glory.
He charged at Robomunt. What he said!
You're here!
Me and the big lug scored a few hard hits. I heard the bolthead's gears grind as fluid bled from his metal skin, turning his gold armor black. Finally, Lizzie Tor, disarmed the bot by ripping off his arm, making him drop his spear. I grabbed it and impaled Mechadog in the chest.
For the glory of the Machine Empire! All for you, Prince Gasket!
Huh? They're cheering? For me? Hell yeah, they are! I'm a big damn hero! Lizzie and I waved at the crowd. The Robo-Royals scowled at everyone.
We have killed the machines, champion. My people will rise up and...
My bone sword poked out of his chest. Shoulda saw this coming, Lizard Lips. I yanked my sword out of his back and shoved him to the ground, where he crumpled in a pool of blood. I looked up at the prince and princess on their podium. That the best you got, gearheads?
I admire your cunning and ruthlessness, young cur. But these organics must remember their place.
We have other warriors he can fight, husband. Mechanizer, defector, drill master.
Do you always let her boss you around? Robo-Cook.
You insult my honor? For that, I will kill you myself.
Gasket, my dear, don't be foolish. You have nothing to prove to this numbskull.
No, Archerina. This simple learn he cannot be allowed to sow seeds of rebellion. Our power must be absolute.
I smirked as he leaped from the podium and landed in the arena.
Junior, 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 Junior.
You should have listened to the lady, Cassie.
Shut up and fight well.
Take that! Snap! Hurry! Prince Plughead was no slouch. I couldn't land a single hit. But he couldn't hit me either, and that drove him crazy. The crowd turned more and more against him the longer we fought, and it made him mad.
Enough! Burn in a pit! Yeah!
A green laser beam shot from his sword. I barely dodged it fast enough to spin it and hack his hand off. Again, I don't get why they don't scream! Ugh. Anyway, Gas Kettle kicked me in the gut, pushing me back, and picked up his sword with the other hand. He swung at me. I parried. Came back around for another attack, but I slashed his arm off at the elbow and kicked him in the back, launching him to the ground. Haha, they're singing my song! I pulled a black rose out of my pocket and threw it at the prince. Give Gasha Dokuro my regards.
No!
I raised my bone sword to chop the prince's head in half, but a pink dart stabbed my shoulder. I looked up at the podium and saw the princess stringing another energy arrow with her bow.
You'll die before I let you touch him again!
An arrow hit my other shoulder and my back before I could grab a broken shield off the ground to block the others. I looked from behind the shield and saw Mecha Wench charging at me. She transformed her bow into a sword, pointed it at me, and fired a red-pink laser. I instinctively held up the shield. It shattered, but it did deflect the beam, which hit one of the gates. Well, I'm out of here.
Come back here, coward!
I sprinted through the scorched gate with Pink Arrow hot on my heels. The cogs were so busy with the rioting Harathians that I only had to punch my way through a few of them. After running through the halls and dodging lizards, I got outside just in time to see a machine shuttle land and offload a platoon of cogs. I'm one lucky bastard, I thought, and ran toward the ship before the hatch could close. One good thing I learned from Hiccup Monroe was chaos is the best cover. Once inside the ship, I rushed to the cockpit. The pilot cog barely turned around before I cut his head off. I sat down and tapped a few buttons. The pain's catching up with me now. But he who fights and runs away
Will only die another day!
hell. I rolled out of the way just as the fembot's sword stabbed through the chair. Exhausted, I barely had time to shoulder bash her. Nice try, Pinky.
Die, flesh lump!
She threw a punch at me, but I shoved her against the wall, grabbed my bone sword, and stabbed her in the shoulder, pinning her.
Ah!
You're one determined bitch butt, you know that?
Release me, worm!
I got a better idea. I pulled her sword out of the seat and reared it back to stab her in the face. I don't know if machines feel nothing or she was denying me the satisfaction of seeing her squirm, but her metal face was blank. I stared her down for a few seconds and lowered the sword. No, I was supposed to kill your husband, but now I'll do the next best thing. Take you back to the starving skeletons as a trophy. Haha, the machines will pay a pile of money for you.
Why, you...
I threw the severed cog head at her face to knock her out. Finally, some peace and quiet. I managed to take off without looking suspicious. Yeah, I'm as surprised as you are. When we got back to Gaikatsu, I took Archie to the forge and chained her up there. The starving skeletons don't believe in taking prisoners, so they ain't got a dungeon. It's kill only with them. Even I thought that was a bit boring. Anyway, Hackman stormed into the room, and he looked pissed.
Junior.
About time you got here. Huh, look what I found.
You damn fool.
Huh?
You failed your mission.
What the trudge is wrong with you?
Gasket still lives.
He's a robot, so isn't lives a relative term?
Spare me your excuses.
Excuses? I was ambushed by a Feryx bounty hunter sent by my own father. That was both traumatic and confusing.
Even after months with us, you're a disgrace. I suggested he hire Borax.
Yeah, what?
Either you would survive and please your father, or you would die, thereby ending your family's humiliation.
Why, you little...
And you somehow botched both.
But I brought the Machine Princess here. We could ransom her.
The starving skeletons have no interest in such things. That is not the way of Gashidokaru.
Huh. Who's making dumb excuses now?
Silence! The robots broadcast a distress signal if they are captured by enemies. By bringing her here, you invite the Machine Empire to discover our temple and destroy us. Our purpose is predicated on secrecy.
Oh, now you tell me!
I shouldn't have to. Now kill her before she can send a signal, and perhaps I will absolve you before Gashidokaru.
Damn it!
He is right, you know.
You're awake? Huh. How much did you hear?
I heard everything. And yes, I've already sent a distress signal. My husband will rain the full fury of the Machine Empire on you confounded assassins. Oh, thanks to one louse. The Empire thanks you.
Lady, what makes you think I won't kill you right now to prevent that?
You hate the starving skeletons even more than the Empire, and won't shed a tear if they are wiped out.
I looked away and clenched my aching fists.
You organics are so pathetically simple. You mistreat each other without cause and allow emotion to cloud your judgment. We machines have tempered our feelings with perfect, pragmatic logic. That is why the Machine Empire is destined to rule the galaxy forevermore. We are the superior life forms.
Big talk coming from a princess in chains. But when you're right, you're right.
Of course I am. Haku Monroe is a hypocrite. From what we machines have heard, he has no place talking about honor after what he did to that poor woman.
Say what?
Years ago, he violated a nobleman's mistress. She refused to end the pregnancy as some sort of bizarre way of avenging herself against him. Instead, she died in childbirth. The universe often has a twisted sense of irony.
I looked away to close my eyes and damn the tears. Do you know the mistress's name? Or what happened to the kid?
No, the Machine Empire cares nothing about the affairs of organics.
Well, for once I wish you had. I stormed off to the door. I stopped when I glanced up and saw the Death God statue outside. Haku Monroe, my father, thought wearing the face of Gashidokaru made his authority absolute. A mask of righteousness that demanded we all bend our knees to his every whim. But you know what? I was sick of being pushed around by anyone, especially by the ones who dared call themselves my dad. No more! Like old Gosh said in this song, it's about time power changed hands. But I didn't stand a chance against the bastard's armor. I needed to level the battlefield. But how? Then I thought about my arena buddy and how he killed a big lizard and wore his skin. I had a robot prisoner in a weapons forge. Say what you want about the existence of gods, but I swear the Gashidokaru statue smiled at me at that moment. Now I know what I gotta do.
Have you come back to free me? You still have time before the elite cogs tear down this accursed temple.
With my back to scrap metal princess, I picked up a buzzsaw from the work table. Not exactly.
Explain, you pleb!
I turned and walked to the princess, keeping the buzzsaw behind my back, and put one hand on the wall next to her face. You're gonna help me fight my way out of here.
With what weapons?
You.
What?
I raised the buzzsaw to her face. Don't you worry your pretty little head, darling. 'Cause you're gonna lose it.
No, please, don't.
A few hours of techno blacksmithing later.
Junior, it can't take a fool like you that long to kill one robot.
My name ain't Junior, it's Rito. Rito Bandora. Learn it well. It'll be the last name you ever hear. Father. I swaggered out the door in my newly forged skeleton armor. I'd embellished it with skulls on the big shoulders and on the knee pads, but it was the spitting image of Gashadokuro. All I was missing was a mask. In one hand, I held my now enhanced bone sword, and under my other arm was the head of the machine princess with a black rose clenched in her mouth.
So, you've learned the truth about your heritage. No matter. Whether you're Vilius' son or mine, you'll always be the son of a whore.
Tiring me was your worst mistake. Just ask old Gasha. He agrees with me.
You dare desecrate the image of Gashadokuru with your obscene metalwork. Remove it now.
I ain't taking orders from you anymore. In fact, I challenge you by right of combat. I walked over to the altar of the Death God statue and put Princess Archibald's head on it. Now, what do you say? You want to dance? Several of Haku Haku's underlings flinched. My so-called father marched out in front of the altar.
I will escort you to meet Gashadokuru myself.
My appointment's been canceled. You can have my time slot. Boner! Hockey Mask was fast. It was like his armor weighed nothing. I barely kept up with him, but keep up I did, damn it. We knocked over a few candelabras with our swords, and I even threw the vase of black roses on the altar at him as an improvised projectile. It worked about as well as you'd expect. He charged at me, so I jumped onto the altar and flipped over him just as he swung his sword at what would have been my knees. I spun around to counterstrike, and our blades clashed, locking at the crossguards. Not bad for a bag of bones, huh, Dad? Ha 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 ha!
I will feed your bones to the Midas Hound.
That bastard kicked me back and jumped away.
Now, Junior, you will taste my true power. The hellfire of Gashadokuru.
The not-so-silent knight raised his sword overhead with both hands, and swirling flames ignited above it. With one massive sword swing, a fireball shot at me. I covered my face with my hand and steeled my nerves. Well, I gotta admit, that is a pretty cool trick.
Impossible.
I lowered my arm and saw the left side of my armor was covered in scorch marks. But it was still intact despite feeling like a sauna inside. Now let me do one for you. I held up my left hand to fire. Damn it! The flaming skull charged me, smacking the scorched side of my armor with his sword. I felt the blade's edge slice my skin as it cut my armor, but mostly, I felt more of my ribs crack. I flew back and hit the wall. Oh, okay, that hurt. Oh.
This is when you die.
He raised his sword and rushed at me. Damn it, just need to click trigger and gauntlet. Energy channeled from my gauntlet into my bone sword, and a red-black laser beam fired from it and hit Monroe in the breastplate. But he kept stomping toward me. My hand felt like it was on fire as smoke billowed from my gauntlet. Just go! down! Oh! He flew back and crashed into the base of the Gashadokuro statue. Didn't see that coming, huh? You'd be amazed what you can learn by dissecting a robot princess. Somehow that Yehu kept a hold of his sword, and he tried to raise it. I swatted it to the floor with my bone blade. Ripped his mask off, and grabbed him by the throat with my scorched left hand. All I can remember about how he looked was that his face was covered with blood and soot.
She will avenge this dishonor.
Whatever you say, Daddy Damnedest.
Gasha Guru.
You know, I never did like that song you and your skeleton boys kept singing. Except for 2 lines. When I gaze around this world through these eyes of mine, everything I see turns to skulls. I tapped my left gauntlet with my bone sword to complete the circuit. His armored body fell limp and crumpled to the floor while I held his skinless skull in my hand. I dropped the helmet and hung my new trophy from my belt. Turning around, I saw the mask, the face of Gasha Dokuro, lying on the floor. I bent down and picked it up. Somehow it didn't have a scratch on it. I glanced up at the Death God statue, which I swear had glowing red eyes, and then glared at the starving skeletons who shrank back. Finally, I put the mask on. Some of the skeletons ran, a few bowed. I smirked. The machines were bombarding us! I ran to the altar and grabbed the machine princess's head. Then, like a bat out of the shadow world, I sprinted for the nearest door. I managed to get onto a shuttle with a few survivors, and we flew out during the orbital bombardment. Once we were out of range of the machines, those skeleton boys begged me to be their new leader and start another temple. I told them I had better things to do. It took some aggressive persuasion, but I did get them to take me back to Gamma Vile. As soon as I was off the ship, I marched my death god blessed ass to Vilius Manor. I swear I only hurt his Doros at the front door, and burst into his office. Hey Dad, I'm home!
Rito?
What the? Ugh. Why are you dressed like that?
Hey sis, what do you think of your baby brother now? Ha ha ha!
That I hate him more than ever?
Great to see you visiting again. Miss me? Anyway, long story short, I killed a cult leader assassin guy and took his mask.
I have heard rumblings that the starving skeletons were destroyed by the Machine Empire. Rito, did you by any chance have anything to do with that?
Yeah, I did. No thanks, and thanks to you.
Yes. Borax was deterred by his greed, but I cannot fault him as a fellow capitalist. However, I would have never expected you to defeat Hakamindro and take his armor.
Oh, this? Other than the mask, I made it myself.
With what, Rito?
I held up the machine girl's head. The Black Rose had started to wilt. With her...
Oh, my.
Disgusting.
That it is, Rita. But I am intrigued.
Really? This bastard child. is literally wearing someone's skin as armor modeled after a death god.
Yes, and this person was the wife of a traitorous client who needed to be taught a lesson.
Oh, and did I mention that the previous owner of this mask was my biological father?
He was?
I shot a knowing glare at Sis, who rolled her eyes. Yep. And let me tell you, taking him down felt so damn good.
You have done what I could never do, my boy. Your mother can rest easy knowing she has been avenged.
Father, have you forgotten who this is?
Oh, I have not forgotten who this is, for this is my son. And for the first time in my life, I am proud of him.
It's a good thing I was wearing a mask. Because, there might have been tears.
I won't stand by while you indulge this reprobate.
Your loss. Sis stood and stomped toward the door. She stopped and glared at me.
You're revolting.
And you're repulsive. That's why you can't keep a man. So, while my sister spent years wandering the universe on an intergalactic fetch quest, I ended up a commander of armies when my daddy's ex-clients went to war with his new client, a skinless freak named Lord Ed. Even he was impressed by what I did to the machine's prince and princess. Hell, I think the idea of me wearing her scared him a little. Ha! You might be wondering where I hid little Rena's head. That's for me to know and you to waste your life trying to find. Ha ha! Oh, but trust me, her pissed off husband tried to beat it out of me during the war. Seeing me would send him into a very unmachine-like rage. But no matter how hard I tried, he never let me have a chance to finish what I started with his arms. Oh well. The important thing is I'm the son of a kingmaker and, depending on who you talk to, the avatar of Gasha Dokuro. It's all turning to skulls, baby. Ah! Scyther Podcast presents, in association with Moonlighting Ninjas Media, Power Rangers, the audio drama, Origins, Rito Bandora, starring Nathan Marchand as Rito Bandora, Jeannie McGinnis as Rita Bandora, Tony Fielding as Master Vilius, Jason Rivers as Haku Monroe, Carl Dutton as the Cogs, Daniel DeManna as Borax, Thomas Carter Rochester as Prince Gasket, Rebecca Olivia Hodges as Princess Archerina, Damon Noyes as Altor, and Shane Cochran as Tritor. With additional voices by Zach Adamson, Rob Buck, Jonathan Courtright, Drew Dodgen, Asa Kelly, Lee James Sands, and Aaron Wargo. Written, produced, directed, and edited by Nathan Marchand. Additional editing by Carl Dutton. Script editing by Christopher Reiner and Carl Dutton. This episode's theme song is Game Over by Jacob Lazat. Additional music tracks include Koro no Kokoshi or The Black Prince by Times 10, aka Hirokazu Umeda, and music by Fesliyan Studios and Declan Gilgallen. Sound effects sourced from freesound.org and created by JP Gant and that SFX guy. Cover art created by Rebecca Hudgens. Follow her on Twitter/X and Instagram at super_R_illustrations. Additional artwork for the video version created by Tony Fielding. This is a fan production with no association with Saban Entertainment, Hasbro, or Toei. No copyright infringement is intended or implied. A massive shout out and thank you to Scyther's patrons and all you crazy Rito heads who've been encouraging me to get this done.
Gasha Dokuro bless you. Thanks for listening.